Good morning, everyone.
I just realized I still have like a zin in my cheek, so I'm glad everybody's here for that.
So you're ready. You're ready. Um,
Oops.
there we go. Yeah, good morning. I am here. I'm putting the link to your book right here, right at the top. I'm here with Lauren Hough. Hello, good morning.
You know what? This
Um,
isn't NPR. We're allowed to fucking
we can
have a zin in our cheek.
we can curse. It's like, yeah, you don't have to you
I
don't have to
haven't dropped an F
yourself.
bomb on NPR yet,
Um,
but it's
this
good.
is yeah, this is my, no one's going to bleep out F bombs here. So, totally, you're totally,
Well, this
yeah,
is how great my brain is working right now. I cracked my phone screen last week. Do you
yeah,
know how many times I tried to take a screenshot to show someone that my phone screen was cracked?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think, I think there was a point in time last week where I was looking for my phone and holding it. So
I'm not actually schizophrenic. There's one of those tiny little plant bugs.
hitting you in the face.
There. Yeah.
So, I was showing Lauren before, just like 2 minutes ago. Here's Lauren's book, and yep. And once I knew we were going to do this talk, I was like, oh, I should start putting post-its in when I start reading a passage that I think would be a good passage for her to read during the talk, and then this, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if it's doing it. There are literally like, there are 50 different, it got crazy. And then there's some on the top. So it's like, okay, well, the post-it's a bad way to do this because there's just too many. And so then I had a pencil and I was underlining. Um, and as it turned out, we have 4 passages that Lauren, hopefully we're going to get to today. This book is and now I was a huge fan of the last book. Um, and so when I started reading this book, I was like, okay, she just did it again. You do it again. And
It's
I,
usually said with like a much different tone.
oh, it's,
But
it's totally
yeah, you
different.
just
It's
did it
completely
again.
different, but it's you. And it's brilliant, honestly. And I don't throw the word around lightly. It's just, to me, it's like, you could not have taken a road trip at a more perfect time. And I think that was one of the things I wanted to just establish for people who are maybe joining. And I'm obviously really, oh, Kate is saying, hi, dudes. Hi, Kate.
I did.
Um, wanted to establish for people who have not gotten to read it yet. It's like, what month, year did you take off with Woody in the van? And I want to talk a little bit about like what led up to this, but just so we have a context of like roughly when.
Um, yeah, right in. I bought the van. I got Woody in August of 2021, or September, somewhere right around there. I really should know his like birth date, but we just celebrate it randomly any random year. I'm like, and it's your birthday. He doesn't fucking know.
No.
Um, and yeah, the van happened in the summer of 2022, and then I took off in like March 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, March. So and then it took, I guess, 2 years, 2 years to write the book.
Yeah.
Should not have
How
taken
long did
that
the
long.
road trip take?
That was 3 months, almost to the day. I think it was almost exactly 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, 3 months, 14,001 mile. I was very proud of that and one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
If it hadn't clicked over to 14,000, I totally would have gone around the block again before I went home.
It's gonna hit that.
It was just so close. You have to hit it.
You do. Yeah. I'm definitely like, that's the kind of thing that I couldn't have had the like 999. We would have
No,
come to it. Yeah. No,
no, you have
that
to go
has to
around the block
happen.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. So one of the main things that I think you're talking about in the book all the way through is kind of what's happening for people online, like who people are online, who they might be in person, and how easy it is to dehumanize people when you're just sitting on your phone, with your thumbs. Um, do you want to talk about what made you get in the van first, or do you want to read the first passage?
Oh,
I want to ask you
you
kind of
wanna ask me about the first passage?
I wanna ask you well, yeah, the other thing I wanted to do before we, like, dive into the Florida man, because 'cause we're gonna do that, but
Oh.
I wanted to ask you kind of like what I mean, I know.
Yeah, no, I think just being on it broke my brain. I think it's breaking all of our brains. We don't you turn into and everyone around you turns into just these little circles with a handle by it, and they're no longer real people. They're sort of antagonists to your life. Even when they're kind. When when I first blew up, I put out this essay, about being a cable guy, and I don't know, maybe 2 weeks in, I s it w 8,000,000 fucking people read it in the first weekend. That's the population of Manhattan. Um, and a lot of them were talking to me, and some of them were but most of them were fucking great. And I would say something about being overwhelmed that, with all these replies or with all these DMs, and people would tell me, "Well, ignore the haters." They're not haters, they're great, and it was still too much. The haters came later on. Anytime you have, a large following, a large percentage of that following is just people following to be pissed off at you. Um, and, there were innumerable pile-ons for really dumb shit. I got called a domestic terrorist for feeding my dog cheese once. It's just it doesn't matter if it's real or not. But it broke my brain in a way that someone would come and say the most innocuous thing to me, and I would go off. I still have an issue with, like, Substack comments. My first reaction to comments on a Substack piece is not warmth or anything. It's, what's about to happen?" Or,
Yeah,
"What do you really mean by that?" Or, like, "Why are you being shitty to me?" When they're not being shitty. They're just talking to me.
yeah,
But, yeah, it broke my brain, and the only way I could fix that was by going offline. When you meet people just in person, especially when you're walking around with a dog, like, you're greeted first with, like, a big old grin at your dog, and then you talk. And I think it not only humanized me for them, but it humanized other people for me, of, like, this is a person my dog likes. I can moving back to Texas, I think, helped a lot too. People It's jarring when you first get here and you're standing in line at H-E-B and people just start talking to you. Um, like, "Why? What is going on here?" Um, but they do. People talk to strangers, and I think that helped a lot. But, yeah, getting out on the road, and you can't you can't look at your phone while you're driving.
yeah,
So, it was I was doing these stories for Texas highways, and I would have to drive. They keep sending me to West Texas for some reason. It's the last place I wanna go. Um, I'm fucking from there. Um, but I wouldn't be online when I was doing it because I
yeah.
was driving, because half the time you don't even have a signal out there.
I think people might not realize, um, when you write, most I would say most writers, you wouldn't be able to write if you weren't a sensitive person. And, I think you sometimes in particular, you can come off as like tough,
I don't
but
know why I have that reputation because I'm not.
you're not. No,
It's
you're
it's
not.
funny too, like, Roxanne Gay has it too. Anytime I mention her, people will tell me, "Oh my god, she's scary." Roxanne?
Yeah.
She's, like, the nicest person I know. That's But yeah, online, and I think it's because of that defensiveness we developed
Well,
because, like,
because also
this does hurt.
yes, and that's what I was gonna say is I think also as a woman on the internet and as a writer, it's like, you better develop a tough skin or you're not gonna be okay, and I think that people sometimes mistake that, like, when you can be sarcastic or when you're smart enough to come back with, a comeback, people can sometimes get confused and think that you're fine and you can handle it. And sometimes really it's like you may be able to handle yourself in a street fight, but internally you're having like a nervous system response. Like your heart's,
Yeah,
slamming out of your chest. I've had that experience where I'm like, my hands are shaking, like I'm not okay. But you can't see that when
no,
someone's throwing comments at you. Um, and I think that people don't always understand or remember there's a human being on the end of this. And when it's somebody like a writer and there are, a whole bunch of people who get pissed off about something, and then you've got a million, what it feels like is a million people attacking you. It's brutal.
yeah,
It hurts
uh,
for
yeah, it
real.
stings. No, it really stings, and, like, that's the problem with it is showing pain to the internet is they just sense blood in the water. Um,
Yeah,
so you get more there's no, like, "Can you just be nice to me for one goddamn minute here?"
right.
Um, yeah, you're in the middle of a pile-on and, like, my dog's dying next to me, and people are yelling at me. I'm like, "Alright, can you give me 10 fucking minutes?"
Yeah,
And the funniest thing is, like, I could have given myself 10 fucking minutes by just putting my fucking phone down,
right.
but I couldn't do that.
Well, it's hard when you're in the middle of something and you feel like you're being attacked. You
Yeah,
are being attacked. You're not it's not a feeling. You are being attacked. It's very hard to sort of like say to yourself, "Okay, I'm gonna walk away and try to like calm my nervous system." It would be like being attacked in public, and I think that's the part that people do not always understand, is that even though it's happening online, it's happening to an actual human being,
yeah,
and it hurts like it would hurt you or any of us. It hurts. It's painful. And writers do tend to be sensitive people, and even if you can come out with, like, a biting comeback, it doesn't mean that you're not in a lot of pain. So
my
that
phone just oh, phew.
yeah.
My laptop screen just disappeared for a second.
Oh, yeah,
We were gonna do
mine
something
goes
terrifying.
off.
That was gonna be fun. Yeah, it's tr I don't know, the whole thing's weird.
Yeah,
I think people have this perception because, there are a whole lot of actual celebrities who have someone else handling their account. I don't think they think we have, like, a PR team who approved our posts, and, no, it's just my dumb ass. I'm just being stoned in my living room, and I thought that was funny, and it was not. I get that, but, yeah, I don't know.
there's no slack. There's no slack or, benefit of the doubt extended, where I think if you were in person with someone, you would be like, "Okay, okay," like, or you'd see somebody who's just, like, joking, like, it's not that serious, as
Well,
the kids
I
say.
mean, the thing about it is that the algorithm works on this because rage keeps people scrolling, and they know this. Rage people keeps people scrolling a lot longer than, puppy videos.
Yeah,
So, yes, the algorithm encourages people to read things in the least friendly manner possible so they can get mad about it, so they will keep scrolling. A dunk is always gonna get more retweets than, like, look at something my dog did. It's it is built that way. There there's it's weird how when you talk about reality now, you sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist. But they they do actually want to keep us online and scrolling and at each other's throats.
well, yeah.
They do.
because then
because
we're distracted and they
we're
can,
not paying
you know,
attention to them running away with all of it.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I know. I sometimes I'm, like, writing something and I'm like, "Oh, I sound like one of those people," but I don't care because it's what's happening if we we're screen I want y let's talk about Florida Man for a minute because that first
Man.
passage, I feel like most people who read your stuff know know who Florida Man is, or what Florida Man is, but just in case, for anyone who's not chronically online or maybe missed that meme somehow, Florida Man is like, oh, Florida Man, like, you know, decided to go wading and got eaten by alligator. Like Florida Man, like there's so many instances that Florida
Cut
Man.
someone's face off. There's always a Florida
Right.
man story. Yeah.
So, are you good to read the first passage? I'm going to put the link back in just for fun. If you have not
There's
ordered this book yet, you're in for such a treat. I just can't even tell you. Really.
All right, so we're going to back to Florida.
Yes.
All right. Do we know where I'm starting? I needed to go to Florida. All right. Back to Florida, or the problem with going to Florida. If I drove to Florida and you're familiar with maps, you'll understand that I'd have to take a long detour all the way around South Carolina to get to North Carolina and all those places north of the Carolinas. I did want to go to Florida. I'd read every book wherein some asshole like me drives around and writes about it. I fucking love road trips. Unless I've missed one among those epic trips, only in the electric Kool-Aid acid test and on the road do the authors cross into Florida, and only so far as Pensacola. More importantly, my mom moved to Florida when she retired a couple years ago, as is the tendency of people who have had it with the goddamn cold. When she calls, once she's done telling me about her latest poker victories, she'll ask me when I'm coming to visit. Sometime after your parents hit the 70s, if you're lucky enough to have parents who hit their 70s, you start doing the math on how many times you'll see them again, or I did. For me, it happened during a cancer scare with my dad. I sat up one night and started counting. This wasn't difficult math. Say each lived another 20 years. I'd seen my mom twice the year before. If I made the trip, or she did, twice a year, I would see my mom 40 more times. 40 times, if I was lucky. The math shouldn't have been so easy. I sat there that night just thinking of the number 40. I don't like to think of it, but it was hard to find a way around it. And here's the thing about Florida, it's a joke. It's a joke we tell online about Florida man and old people driving golf carts and rednecks too stupid to run from a hurricane. And that orange fuckwit who named his Mar-a-Lago resort the Summer White House like he was Peter the fucking Great. The only time Florida makes the news is when Florida man shoots himself in the face trying to kill a gator, or there's a hurricane, or the governor's trying to ban books or trans people. I've spent so much time poisoning my brain on the internet that I can't hear the word Florida without waiting for the punchline. It really fucking sucks because I live in Texas. Another joke. I don't like that I'm a joke. I don't like that while I was freezing in an ice storm, worried about whether or not our food would last, I'd open my phone to check the weather quickly, trying to conserve the battery. But my muscle memory and addiction meant that before I'd lock the screen, I'd open Twitter. I'd see reports that someone else had frozen to death. And I'd see jokes about our sociopathic, masturbation addicted senator who'd fled to Cancun. And I'd see the people I followed on Twitter because I thought we shared some common values, liberals and socialists and authors, making jokes about how we were getting what we voted for. Karma. Thoughts and prayers, lol. I wanted to shove an icicle into someone's eye socket. Stand your ground, lol. What I'm saying is, I don't like the way I thought about Florida or Mississippi or Alabama for that matter. I thought maybe I should spend some time in one of them, mark my brain with something other than stereotypes. I wish people would come to Texas, not so we could shoot them, but because it's so easy to laugh at someone's misery on the internet, easy to forget that they're human beings. They're just symbols of something you hate, caricatures, punching bags for your rage at the way things are. If they just get their shit together, fuck them. Honestly, they deserve it. I don't laugh at Texas. I don't laugh at Florida either. I'm not a sociopath lying. I'm not a sociopath laughing while people are dying in an ice storm or a hurricane. But I've made my share of jokes in good weather, and that isn't great either. I needed to go to Florida.
Yay. I just wanted to like let that. So, I wanted you to read that passage first just because I feel like it's like a theme that's running throughout this book. And I felt like I can see all the hearts flying in the conversation here. I felt like that would really get it across to people that that is such a common thing that's happening now. And it's devastating, and heartbreaking. And I think everyone can relate. Even like here in California when we had the wildfires, uh, people were like, who cares? You'll just buy new mansions next week. And it's like,
Yeah,
I was a mile south of the evacuation line. I spent 2 weeks with my trunk packed, not knowing, like, okay, I'm like, all right, photographs, kids' artwork, like, I don't know, like, looking at it, like, having an app going off every 10 minutes, not knowing if we have to evacuate. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, I don't have the I don't have the money to buy a new
Yeah,
house. It's like, it's so nasty.
yeah,
Not everyone here is like a celebrity who's just gonna buy a new match. It's just like, but I don't think that a lot of those people, if they actually saw what was happening out here, would be saying things like that. Just like I don't.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Uh, yeah. That so much of what's going wrong in our country is just this lack of empathy and lack of, concern for each other, which is, I don't know, it's like sometimes I have this thought of just what if we all logged off, you know, but
It'd be nice.
it would be, it would be really nice. Um, so you get out there, you get in the car,
Okay.
you start driving. And what did you, what did you think was going to happen? Like, was your theory that it was going to be like that when you started driving, that people were going to be that nasty like they are on the internet? Or
I didn't really know. I was more worried that I wouldn't be able to talk to people. I'm not naturally shy, but you learn that after a while. But yeah, I didn't really have a choice. Woody keeps talking to people whether I like it or not. And sometimes I'm like, "Oh, we don't need to make friends over there, buddy." Um, but
apparently we do.
we're going to. Yeah, I thought I would in the book. I thought I would write a lot more pissed off books than I wrote. And I did a couple times, but it wasn't what I wanted to write, and I didn't think it was useful to put just anger out in the world. We've got enough of it. So,
It's not.
yeah, I didn't wanna write an angry book.
No, it's
Um, it's probably sad at times, but, I'm a sad person. I'm not gonna put a happy ending on something. But I didn't wanna write an angry book. I wanted to write something. I wanted to walk away from the trip with hope. I didn't think I would find it. I did. Um, but I wanted more than anything when I was writing it for the book to have that same feeling that I had, that whether or not this place is worth saving, we do have to save it. It's what we've got.
yeah. Yeah, it's not an angry book. I mean, it's definitely I felt at the end of the book, I did feel hopeful because I think that, the main for me, the main message was like, we could all be a lot kinder to each other. And that's something that, we actually have control over. I
Mm.
can't control what's happening out there any more than you can, but like I can certainly control what I'm doing or what I'm contributing or not contributing. Um, I can do that. So I think to me, when I got to the end of the book, that's what I came away with. And also I think the people that you met along the way, you really did bring them to life. I mean, people that you were meeting at gas stations and, campsites, they were that I mean, I don't want to, not that I could talk about it for like hours and it wouldn't matter because people still, but like the man whose wife didn't make it, I just like, there are people that you're meeting and they break your heart,
Yeah.
and maybe there are people that you would dismiss online, but
But yeah, in person, it's just you can't dismiss someone as easily. And you can't dismiss someone right after they've been kind to your dog. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
makes it a lot more difficult. Um, yeah, just there are a thousand things we would say online to another person that we would never say in person.
no,
Oh,
and I think it's like there's that thing of I don't remember who it is who does it, but there's one of the late night people has celebrities come on and read the tweets, like the mean tweets that people have written about them.
mm,
And, it's at first people are like laughing, and then it's like they're kind of not laughing anymore because it's awful. It's just like
yeah.
really nasty. Um, so I don't know. I just I feel I feel like we're stuck in this loop because people are so much online and you talk a lot about like how we don't have a local pub anymore. And
Yeah. I just talked to a kid. I was doing an interview. There's a local Austin, I think, blogger. They have bowling leagues again.
really
He and his boyfriend have joined a queer bowling league in Austin.
awesome.
So that's fucking cool. I don't know. I I don't know if you've scrolled recently. I would hope you haven't, but we all have. But people aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
They aren't. I'd like to think that people are offline and reading a novel and just happy.
Yeah.
Um, that would be my hope. But yeah, I don't it's all bots and reposts and, clips of a show that aired in 1995, and it's just there to encourage nostalgia and keep us going, but nothing is real. People aren't there anymore. Um, so I don't know. I know some people still are, like, we're still fucking scrolling through that shit, but it's not real anymore. I'd like to think that people are getting offline and, going to the local bar and hanging out or joining a fucking bowling league or whatever. But fucking protesting would be nice too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't think people are online.
I think the kids, I mean, one of the I think, like if you've seen these commencement speeches lately, because it's that time of year,
Yeah.
um, these these assholes who go and start talking about AI and how it's like the future, and then all these kids are like booing and like throwing things. Um, I think it's really interesting because, and that will lead us very naturally into the next passage. But, I think it's really interesting because um, I have noticed, like, I have a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old, and they hate AI. Uh, they hate it. They will not use it. My daughter wants to go into journalism, and she got an internship at the local paper last year, and she's writing for the school paper, and she's so anti AI, like, hates it. And everyone in their, like their friend, like they do not like it. They're very, and of course it's not a scientific study, but this is like, it's all of them. And I ask because I'm so interested. And my son's, in his call, he's like, no one likes this, mom. Like, no one wants it. No one likes it. They know these
Well,
kids,
I know.
they're like, it's going to replace us. Like, we don't want this crap.
I mean,
And
the funniest thing about the AI whole they're shoving it onto us is that I think they thought that it because it could code, that it could do anything. Because these are dipshits that think that coding is the most difficult thing on earth, and the reason none of us were coding is because we couldn't. They thought that was the hardest thing a human being could do, and they must be brilliant for being able to do it.
yeah,
And so they think it can write too, because that's the thing they cannot fucking do. They think it can make art because they don't understand art or writing or any of it. They will post a picture of Van Gogh next to an AI interpretation of Van Gogh and look how much clearer AI made it, as though Van Gogh's problem was sight.
right.
They they don't understand anything that they're trying to replace.
No,
I don't know, I think the kids are all right. There's a group of boys playing hacky sack down the street when I was walking Woody this morning.
it
They're
gives me
done.
life.
They're fucking done with us.
Yeah, every time I see that, like the commencement, I'm like, okay, and there is this, what I've noticed is most of these people that are telling us AI is inevitable and like, it's happening. So, you can be one of those people who's not doing it, but it's at the horse is out of the barn. They're mostly dudes in there. I'm sorry. This is my observation. It's mostly dudes who are like in their, late 40s, 50s who think it's the coolest shit ever and they're,
Mm.
obsessed with it. Um, Obviously it's the tech bro billionaires who've invested all this crypto in it. And then it's like I'm gonna just say it, like MAGA, like it's suddenly we've got all these like influencers, women who are like, come on, ladies, if you don't like learn how to use this stuff, you're gonna get left behind. Like,
It
that's
is. It is. It's funny that we didn't see it coming because the logical endpoint of like girl boss feminism. It is the lot that they took a payout from the
oh
fucking machines that they want to replace us.
yeah.
It is the logical end. That was where it was always going to end.
It's
Um,
almost funny, but it's like, it's like you can kind of laugh, but it's so sad also. And not really funny when your book's stolen and everyone's books are stolen. Like it's not really funny anymore, but it can't, it's just it's so obvious to me when I read something that's AI generated. It's the same formulaic bullshit over and over again. I even here on Substack, I can tell instantly when something's written. It's not.
yeah, I don't know. If you say something about it on Substack, there are the people who are trying to gamify Substack and put out 10 articles a day, and they're all AI generated, and
Crap.
they always have some defense of, oh, well, I'm just using it to research, or I'm just using it to this, or you're you're using it to think.
Yeah.
You and if you're no longer thinking and you're not creating, the fuck is the point of you?
Don't write. Do
You
something else.
nobody
Don't be a writer.
nobody is making you be a writer. I mean, I tell myself that sardonically several times a week during like book publishing when I haven't slept and I really just need a fucking sandwich and to cry a little bit. But as no one's making you do this, Lauren, but no one is making you write. You don't have to be a writer. Go fucking do something else. I don't get to play in the WNBA. You
Right.
don't have to. I'm not built for it. And it's the logical endpoint of all those tweets that used to go around of like, it's ableist to expect writers to read. No, it's fucking not. You don't have to be a writer. You
Yeah.
don't. don't be a writer. If you don't love reading, if you don't love writing, this is what's baffling to me is they're always shocked that you wouldn't use it. But why won't you? But would make it so easy. But why? But it would make that hard part easy.
The hard
The
part's
hard
the good
part is the
part.
good part. Like, and I don't, there are times when I fucking hate writing when I'm just side eyeing my laptop as I'm walking by because it fucking knows what it did. And I love that part too. I love how much I hate it because, like, I don't know. I think being a writer requires a certain amount of inhaling your own supply. But yeah, hating it makes me feel like a real writer as much as loving it. It's all part of the creation of it. I didn't get to write this book until I'd gone 800,000 words in the wrong direction
Yeah.
and then carved it out and like, oh, what's under here is the book.
Yeah.
But you don't get the book without
The struggle.
staring at your laptop sometimes.
You want to read the next?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like so perfect for where we just ended up. I'm
I
so
love that I had to send this to my brother because by the way,
Oh, and I
so
know you
this
love your
is
brother, and I feel
this
bad because,
no,
like,
no. I
okay,
put this in the book. He knows
okay,
we're fine.
okay,
Um, I put this in the book, this argument I had with him about AI, and then because I'm a writer, I get to revise my argument after we leave the argument.
yeah, of
So
course.
I get to go
The
write the
last
book.
word.
Yeah. But then I asked him, I wanted a map in the book because I think maps are fucking cool. In books should have maps, especially a
Yeah,
road trip book. It should have a fucking
yeah,
map. I don't know if it's in the art, but
it's not.
they're like, well, you have to provide the map. Oh yeah, it just says where the map. It just says where the map should be. I'm like, well, you have to provide the map. So I asked my brother if he'd draw one for me.
Does he
And
generate?
I was like, you cannot fucking use AI. And he's like, Lauren, I would never use AI for my art. He fucking does understand.
Oh my god! Oh my god! That's awesome.
I hate him. I love him so much, but I fucking hate him.
I know. That's why I was like, when I was asking you to read this passage, I'm like, we have to just do a little caveat that, like, he's wonderful and Lauren loves her.
I love him. I
Yeah.
love him so much, but
But this passage is just not, it's just a little snip of, yeah.
where am I starting here?
Oh,
Just supposed
I
to
will
scroll
tell
it
you.
down. Hold on, I got the email.
I got it. I am ready. Okay, it's page 186.
Got that.
In any case, I
In
thought
any case.
ChatGPT.
All right, so this is again like after I yeah. In any case, I thought ChatGPT was something like Photoshop. Then he showed me what it does. He was telling me if I used the right prompts, I could get it to write for me. I'd like to say that I asked him what the fuck he thinks I write for anyway, what he imagines as the purpose of art. I might have said that. I could have told him that this is where I go when it's too much and I don't understand enough to even know the right answer or the right question. When I need to get it out of me, when I cannot fucking think and there are too many feelings at once, when I don't imagine anyone could possibly understand and still hope that maybe if I write it down, if I can get the words right, maybe they will. Maybe not. Maybe it's enough just to write it down. Maybe it's enough that I can. I could have told him, this is my art. It's what I do when everything hurts and yeah, it sells. But I do it anyway. I always did. I could have asked him why the fuck I'd want a robot to do it for me. I think I did ask him that. He said, you could just use it for the hard parts. He doesn't sound like this. It's just he's my brother, so I have to make him sound like an asshole. He's read the book. It's fine. Well, he's read this passage. But anyway, I think I did ask him that. He said, you could just use it for the hard parts. And I said, I love the hard parts the most when I'm pacing my living room, just side eyeing my laptop, when I'm bribing myself with snacks. Why not? Works for Woody. But all it takes is a few hours around my family, the first sign of conflict, and suddenly I am not a person who's been to therapy. I don't know what I said other than that I told him his unfuckable tech bro gods are destroying everything that's good in the world, everything that makes us human. Is that my phone? All right. It doesn't matter. I've never won an argument with my brother. We just get louder until he refuses to participate because he knows I'm right. His tech gods won a long time ago. They don't want critical thinking, and I imagine it would help if we all just let the computer do the thinking for us. Works for them, the motherfuckers who own everything. Let a robot come up with the answers to the questions it chose. Why not? We should all just shut the fuck up, go to work at our shitty job that they've chained us to because the only freedom we recognize is the freedom to buy something. No wonder the only protest we can imagine is not shopping for a day. That'll show them. They do have to keep us buying, keep running up credit, attach a little number to each of us so we don't forget our value. And we do love a goal. Get that score up. Require a college education for a better job that won't pay down the debt required to buy the diploma. Prove we're part of the club that gets to work indoors. Make sure we're always available. They used to keep the underclasses docile by banning reading. Now they just make sure we don't have time to read a book. Why bother when you can ask a robot to summarize it for you? Download another podcast or scroll through Netflix, tens of thousands of shows with the same plot, while we scroll through social media feeds, convincing us that our neighbors and our coworkers are our enemies. So we don't see that the fuckers who already have it all are taking everything that's left. So that they can keep us working until we fucking die. This country's a fucking company store. So it's not entirely a happy book.
Um, it's you've got such a good balance of reality, and there is a lot of hope. There is a lot of hope in the book. Um, you know, I don't want anybody to come away thinking it's both, you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth about, like, how things are, um, but also, like, how things could be. And I think that a lot of it is just up to what we do and, like, how we're spending our time and what we're how we're being. I think it's just so interesting because, one of the things that really comes through is what you were talking about in the first passage, about, like, you yourself, you weren't, like, happy about the way you were thinking about Florida. Like, I needed to go because, like, I laugh about Florida, like, and I know that I don't wanna be thinking that way, and I don't like when people laugh at Texas or whatever. Um I can do that. I think any of us can be fall into that, thinking, or we can get
Yeah.
furious, like, the people who voted for this, like, fuck them. Like, how could they do this? Like, we're all screwed. And you can get into this mindset of, like, it's very hard not to, I think, fall into this mindset of we're all screwed now. And a lot of us are, like, in danger now because a lot of people decided to vote for this. And you can turn your rage at that, and it's legitimate to be enraged. But you can direct it toward people who did that out of desperation instead of the people who are wreaking the havoc and doing the damage, for their own greed. And I think that's the part of this that's you really highlighted in, such a profound way.
Mm.
Uh, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We can acknowledge somehow in one sentence that they built the most sophisticated disinformation system ever used on a people. We can acknowledge that Bill Clinton taught Democrats they can take just as much corporate money as everyone else and not do a fucking thing, but slap a fucking pride sticker on it, and we'll be like, "Woo, we won!"
Mhm.
And it left, the working class in this country has disappeared. You used to be able to get a job at Sears and support your family,
Yeah.
and take a 2-week vacation, and put your kids in college. that used to be a thing that was true off of one salary and buy a house and, afford to have kids. And we can acknowledge that all of that is true and then still act like nobody could possibly have seen all that and maybe fucked up and voted for the guy who actually did. Democrats were telling people everything's fine, the economy's doing great, but the economy is the stock market, and who the
Yeah.
fuck is playing that? We don't have the money for that.
No.
Um, and for whatever reason, and for a lot of reasons, it's by design. Like, who wants? You're working a 12-hour fucking shift. You're not going to go home and watch the news. You catch like a couple snippets, and what you caught was one guy was telling you, yeah, it's all fucking rigged against you, and I'm going to change it, and I'm going to drain this swamp that's destroying your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, people voted for it.
Yeah.
I don't like that they fucking did. But they did.
Like,
So unless someone else is providing another option, and it can't be, but everything's fine, everything's great, we're
no.
gonna do small incremental changes and fix your life maybe 15 years down the road. But for now, just wait.
Yeah.
It's not a good time. Just wait, hold out.
Yeah. You can't talk down to people, and you can't, the way that I think that sometimes liberal-minded people feel like we're being gaslit, like we see what's going on, like, don't, I think people that are like have nothing. It's the same feeling. It's like, don't tell me everything's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah.
And, and I think actually, because I don't want us to, I don't want us to run out of time. Do you want to go right into the next one? I'm sorry. I know I'm making you like read a lot. Do you mind?
Alright. Uh,
It's the one
the
on,
first time I came to New England, 180.
yeah, yes. I would just be heartbroken if we didn't. And I think
We
others
can write this. Alright, the first time I came to New England, back when I was in the Air Force, when my experience with the country was Texas and Oklahoma and a few Air Force bases. I expected covered bridges and apple farms, snowshoes and moose. I wasn't prepared for the crumbling ruins of textile mills and gray towns made up of dilapidated three-decker apartment buildings. The flat-faced residents shuffling around without bras, their skin marked by the open sores of addiction to pills, and what they find when the pills don't work. I don't know if it hadn't yet made the news or I hadn't seen it, but it'd be years before I heard people talking about pain clinics and OxyContin. Heroin was the thing that killed rock stars in River Phoenix. But out on the Cape and up in New Hampshire and Maine, at a Bangor, Howard Johnson's with its terrifying carpet, and all those little towns you pass on winding roads in Massachusetts, one Dunkin' to another Dunkin', between a closed down mill and a shuttered strip mall. It's the same. Three-decker apartment buildings, the paint faded and toys scattered on the lawn. The locals caught somewhere between the mad scramble and the days of addicts. The scramble to find something to sell, the days of having scored. Every parking lot, it seemed, had someone sleeping it off in a car. And you wonder how a slogan like Make America Great Again caught on. It's fucking heartbreaking for someone like me to feel unsafe nowadays in New England. New England was where I always thought I'd be safe. Back in Amarillo, I was taught that New England's full of liberals who hate America. So I knew I'd be safe there. Though I was surprised the first time I came to New England to see American flags right next to pride flags. And it always seemed a little silly to me, like meeting a gay Christian. But coming from where I come from, and later from where I was stationed in South Carolina, I thought New England was safe. It's not American flags I see anymore. And around the corner from my brother's house, there's a guy with five, and I do mean five Confederate and Trump flags on his lawn. In Plymouth, right in front of the Rock, they'd gather every Saturday to wave their flags and shout through bullhorns at passing cars and discombobulated tourists who I'd like to think are as confused as I am to not just see the Trump flags, but the flag of the fucking Confederacy at goddamn Plymouth Rock. On this trip, I noticed the first flag just north of Gettysburg. I'm sure I'd seen them down south. I know I had. but while I am not a Civil War buff, I do have a cursory knowledge of the conflict, enough to recognize the significance of the sign I'd passed a few miles back, the sign that read Mason-Dixon Line, enough to recognize the significance of, if you'll excuse me, motherfucking Gettysburg. There was an address and everything. We cannot consecrate, we cannot dedicate, we cannot hallow this ground. Maybe that's where we fucked up. How much do you want me to read here?
Stop there. Well, I have like, so, I have like that, and then there's like the next,
Yeah, we got 7 minutes left.
but
We
what was
can
that?
do that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You can tell me no to that if you want to, but no, I felt like, given what we were just talking about, that was that just, I don't know, that just had to get said, because I think that is a part of not traveling too sometimes for people. If you're not, we all have an idea of a place in our
Yeah.
head, right? And then like that, then you actually get there and it's like, oh, this is nothing like what I thought it was. Or
It's funny to me, especially now having driven around, how much everything changes at a state line. Like, you cross into Minnesota from Minnesota into North Dakota, and you were on a different planet than you were 10 minutes ago. Um, and yeah, it's probably state lines were built along rivers for the most part, I think, or bodies of water, but it really does change, and the entire culture changes when you cross over. Wisconsin and Minnesota are very, very different places. Wisconsin's prettier than I thought it would be.
yeah,
I went to basic training with a lot of people from Wisconsin, so I thought it must be a pretty depressing place because that's the only people who join the military. Or they recruit really heavily in the worst town. You pick the worst. Tucumcari, New Mexico has more um, join the Marines billboards than probably anywhere on earth. Um, the fuck else are you gonna do? Um, but yeah, Wisconsin's beautiful.
you
North
have a
Dakota, I'd never met anyone from, but I don't also think there's anybody there. So
you had a line in the book. It was almost like a like a throwaway, but you said something about like, every state has a different personality, and it just like
everyone knows from.
in my brain. But yeah, it just made me, I don't know if it was you were talking about the way people drive,
Oh,
but it might have
yeah.
been. Yeah.
Uh, no, I used to get into this argument randomly. I would say something about Virginia drivers, and someone else from other state always has to chime in. No, these drivers are worse. No, I have driven all of them. It's Virginia drivers. The only state I haven't been to or haven't driven in now, continental, is Nebraska, and I haven't been to Hawaii. But no, Virginia is because they think, and it used to be in their driver's ed, they were actually taught to drive in the left lane of the highway. I worked as a cable guy there forever, and a bunch of guys were like, "No, like that's the way they taught us. You're supposed to go in the left lane. It's the safest lane." But they think they're the cops. Like, nobody speeds in Virginia, and like if you guys understand, if you all sped a little bit, then they can't catch all of you, and that's the way we do it. That's the way we've agreed to do it everywhere else.
But
But
not
no,
no.
no, they will drive 55 on the dot in the left lane, and they will not move.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. Speaking of, like, no pun intended, I guess, but, yeah,
They're the worst.
it's probably, do you not have you had enough reading? Have you, like, are we done? You're like, "I don't wanna read another passage."
I don't know, how long are we going?
I mean, I'm happy
We
to
we
keep.
could ask
Do you guys wanna hear one more
the
passage?
gallery,
There it's like, oh, dude,
do
of
you want
course we
passage
do.
or do you want
Do you wanna
me
talk?
talking out of my ass?
Well, yeah, see, the passage, like, for me, I'm happy to talk, or I don't I don't have, yeah, see, the hearts are going crazy. The next passage is the one that, like, I was like, "Oh god,
Alright.
you read this passage," but, yeah, there's a ton of parts going
It's
on.
not a dog passage, is it? 'Cause, like,
people
Two
want
things about recording an audiobook.
hearing, so I don't know. They want talking, more reading and talking. So I don't know. It's up to you. We can do.
Two
Are you
things
up for
about
both? Are you up
we'll
to like?
we'll I'll read
Do you
another
want to
passage.
talk a little bit more, and then I'll let you go because I know.
I'm going to say a thing though.
Yeah, you say it then. Say as many things as you want.
Um, if you write a passage that and you're recording the audiobook and it makes you cry because
Oh,
there's one thing in here that I wrote once and then we didn't touch it until the final edit. I was like, I will not look at this yet. Because I went in there and I saw notes on it and they just enraged me. I'm like, we're just not gonna we will touch this at the very end. This is about a dog.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
kind
you get to the end of it and like you're choking up and it probably sounds lovely on audio, but then they're like, no, do it again.
of.
They also do that if you write a sex scene in your book,
Oh my god.
and like you can't write a book if you're thinking about anyone reading it because like you're not going to put anything in there. Um, so you have to block all that out. And then you have to read it with like a producer named Jason in the booth, the sound guy, and then they have notes on how you read that. And then you do it a few more times.
Oh my god.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Just
I'm
nobody's
like
making eye contact during that part. What are we talking about? All right.
that
Recording. All right.
is awesome. It's basically like where you just left off the first time I went to
Alright.
Berlin.
Heartbreaking. It's not American flags on this trip. The first time I went to Berlin is somewhere else.
I think it's like
There we go. It's the next page. All right. The first time I went to Berlin as an adult, anytime I got into that, what are you planning to do with your few days here conversation? They'd tell me I had to go to Sachsenhausen. You must see Sachsenhausen. Oh, but you must. I only had a week. I didn't want to spend a day at a concentration camp. But the friend I was staying with insisted, you must visit Sachsenhausen. So on a Tuesday morning, when my friend went to a business meeting, I set off for Sachsenhausen. I switched trains a few times, each train more empty than the previous one. At the last station where I had to switch trains, a guy asked me if I knew which train to take. I said I didn't, but I could ask someone. The old woman I asked in my halting German left her ticket kiosk to point us to the correct train. She said, "This is good. You must see. Everyone must see." The guy, a Brazilian, asked if I minded if he tagged along. He didn't speak any German. He was worried that outside Berlin he might get lost. I didn't want the company, but he seemed sweet, if a little too talkative. He was offended I hadn't visited any of the dance clubs. He asked if I had any coke. I said I didn't. He patted his pocket and said, I have supplies if we have an emergency. His nose was running. I thought, great, how did I manage to find this guy? Maybe I can ditch him once we get there. His redeeming quality was that every story ended with his not getting laid. Last night's adventure, a Swede who danced with him all night, who was taller than he was, and he'd been excited to bet a Viking. Then she abandoned him for a much shorter Egyptian in a tracksuit. Can you believe it? He laughed, and asked again if I needed a little pick-me-up. We caught a bus, and the driver made sure we didn't miss the stop, announcing it in German, then again looking at us in English. He dropped us in front of a newer official-looking building. My travel partner asked what it was. I read the signs. It's a police training center. Next to a concentration camp? Then we understood at the same moment, it seemed. What better place to train your police? To remind them what happens when you forget the humanity of others. I remembered what my friends in Berlin had told me, that Germans don't fear their police like we do. The police aren't even allowed to embarrass someone, let alone shoot them. We didn't talk much, my new friend and I. We walked around and pointed on occasion. You don't comprehend at first the evil of the most innocuous seeming things. The stone track, just a simple stone loop for marching, maybe. The Germans made the prisoners test boots for war. No regard for fit. They were handed boots and forced to march until they dropped, then forced to march some more. The beds, bunked that looked like bunks, but were too short for any adult. A simple wooden post outside the punishment cells where people were tortured, the racks for beating them, the wall for shooting them. The day was unseasonably hot and the camp kitchen was cool, so we ducked inside. Maybe we thought we'd get a break from the heavier emotions that I suspected we were both holding in. But on the walls, the simplest thing is what broke us. Always is. It wasn't the torture and it wasn't the death, it was the art. Simple drawings in vegetable dye, flowers and trees, made by people desperate to hold on to their humanity. I didn't notice I was weeping until I felt his arm around my shoulders, and I thought, dude, I do not need you to hold me. And I heard him sniffle, and I looked over, thinking, Christ, you've got to lay off the nose candy. But he had tears in his eyes. Maybe we both needed an arm. I wonder sometimes how much art we destroyed when we tore down the slave quarters to build a wedding venue. I wonder where we'd be, how many flags we'd see, if we'd heard Lincoln's words, if we'd hallowed the ground that was a little harder to misinterpret.
This is only, I knew if you read this, I was gonna start crying, but that's fine. I think, you know, that's the reason that I feel like the book is so it's definitely not an angry book, and it's definitely not a hopeless book. It's like there's a lot of hope, you know, because I think it really is up to us. It's like, it's not inevitable what happens next. It's really
Yeah, but
it's
hope is a
sad.
choice we make. I don't believe in. Man, I wish my mind just went blank. There was one of the POWs in Vietnam, an admiral, said that the people who didn't make it were the optimists. But it's not. It's the false hope of like, oh, we're going to be rescued by spring, and oh, we're going to make it home for Christmas, and oh, and if you go through so many stages of false hope, it will get crushed enough times where you lose it because it's just optimism. It's not hope. Hope is, I think, a choice we make to just not give up. Here's what choice is there. Like giving up and getting angry and checking out aren't really an options. And I don't mean checking out as in you have to watch the news or scroll or sign fucking petitions. Who gives a fuck? Or not shop for a day. Those we're really good at signing up for the least meaningful thing we can possibly do and then saying we participated. But I think I think hope is continuing to make art and continuing to organize in our neighborhoods. If nothing else, that we should have learned from Minneapolis is that knowing our neighbors and that people who have been checked out and not done anything at all or made wrong choices will see their neighbors under attack and they will defend them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think organizing at community levels is still very important. Um, but yeah, it's funny how worried I get when I think someone might have accused me of being positive. Um, because I'm
Oh,
not.
it wasn't positive, it wasn't hopeful. No, there's no one who's gonna accuse you of being like it's not I'm definitely not saying that. I just don't want it's not you don't walk away from the book like, you know, like, "Oh," it's not like that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna write that book. There's no point to it. It's not helpful.
no,
It's
no,
just not helpful.
it's exactly right. It's exactly right. It's truthful and, um, yeah. I mean, it was like, uh, the other thing that was really interesting too, and I mean, I think people, when they read it, it's the van is like a character in itself, you know?
And, uh,
The van is
yeah,
in
the
itself.
van is apparently still kicking. I sold it
Is
to
that
a couple queer kids in San Antonio who were base jumpers, and they just wanted a van that they could, sleep in that night after I guess they parachuted off something.
okay?
But I still see it in Instagram posts. They swore they were mechanics. I handed them a stack of repair records like that. It was large. Um, and just basically told them like it will fall apart on you. And they're like, no, we can do the mechanics. It's the solar stuff that we don't know how to do. I was like, yeah,
Right,
there
right.
you go.
I
I'm good at the
wanna
solar part. I can't do mechanics. Electronics, yeah, I've got you.
I mean, there is, like, that is a whole thing that's happening throughout the book is, like, and I just wanna before because
It's
I
a great van to buy. My sister, I have my very responsible sister lives in DC and could not understand why I had bought the worst van in America, I think. But and I didn't intentionally buy the worst van in America. I just bought a van because there just weren't everybody was buying it. People are living in fucking vans
yeah,
now. They go as fast as houses do. Um, so and they're all overpriced. Similar. It's housing. We're buying
yeah.
housing. So, but
It's
yeah,
like
I
people
bought the
saying,
first
like,
one I could
van
find.
life, right? Like,
Yeah.
hashtag van life, and people were, like,
We're gonna
jamming
hashtag
their
homelessness.
house.
We're gonna do anything we can. But yeah, and it it was perfect for the book. I didn't know if it would, there was a
Yeah,
worry that it wouldn't make it all the way around, and then it would have been a very different book. So I would have had to just like rent a car and probably something responsible. But it made it. It just provided, I guess, some entertainment in meeting, you know,
yeah.
learning that you can say fucking and a in the same sentence. I was not previously aware of that.
I
Turns
wanna
out you
ask
can.
people because I know that you probably gotta go soon, but does anyone I just wanna ask if anyone has burning questions. It doesn't mean Lauren's gonna answer them, but you can throw them in the chat for the last, like,
A pair of
couple
burning questions. Where's Kate Blanchett when you need her?
burning
Um,
questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and maybe we'll pick 1 or 2, but I also wanted to one of the things that you talked about, and you can tell I didn't tell you I was gonna ask you this, but I didn't tell you I was gonna ask you anything, so, um, it's about your dad, which I is a really moving, a moving part of the whole story is just, um, having him in your life, which I know is not a new saying, but just, how healing that has been, and, um, there are some moments where you're calling him from the road, and I don't know, I just, is that
my dad's fun. I mean, the man loves to tell stories. He loves to tell jokes. I don't know. My dad's great. It's fun to have a dad. I've learned finally that he's not the guy you call about a problem with your van. 'Cause he doesn't. He, all of my memories of him working on cars were apparently the memory before he took it to a mechanic. I don't know, but he doesn't know. But yeah, I don't know. I live in Austin. He lives right outside of town on a lake up a giant hill. But yeah,
but
he's
you
great.
felt like you
It's
lost him
fun.
for a while, right? And, like,
We don't need to get into
we
that
don't
kind
wanna
of.
get into that.
Well,
No,
there's an entire other book about the other part of my life. No, my dad's great. Yeah, I got to dedicate this book to him, which is cool because yeah, I got to see him read that. I'm now gonna have to write another book because my mom will be a
I
whole thing.
I was gonna ask you about that next, but
It's
yeah,
yeah, mothers are mothers. We all have them. I do. Well, I don't know. What I'm gonna try is like just, but the other one's gonna be a novel, and you like novels, so
right.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully that works.
I think
Yeah, I
that
don't
works. I think that
know.
works. I think that's
What do
very
you do? Like, you have 2 parents,
I
though, and you
know.
can't dedicate it to both of them because that's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Horse is so much fun. It's
Lauren, I waited till my parents were not here anymore. I couldn't do it.
That's the wise thing to do, but now I've done one while he's alive, so, yes,
Right.
he's gonna
That
wonder what the fuck I
now
was.
you're committed.
Someone said West Coast tour dates.
Yes, I saw that.
Allie has maybe got us one, I think.
I
I
did.
think it's pretty solid that I will be in Santa Monica at some point.
Woot, woot.
We're not sure. We're not it's
I
I don't think it's
Do
completely
we not
confirmed.
wanna I think it's pretty
Yeah,
solid.
we can okay, so let's talk about this for a second though,
Okay.
because I think a lot of my Substack people are here. Look, guys,
Yeah.
I wanna go fucking everywhere. I wanna go to Portland or whatever, but they're like, they're not gonna fucking pay for it.
Okay.
So
So
if I go to a place, I have to pay for it. I do not have the money to fucking
no,
fund a fucking book tour.
we can talk about it. Let's talk about
So
it.
if the book is successful, I have been told that my agents will go back to the publisher and be like, can we fucking do some tour dates now? But also, like, I got what I have by telling them that I would drive from Austin to Boston because I knew they'd be fucking cheap because they're fucking publishers. They're cheap. They're cheap right now. That
It's
is
not
the
the way
way
it
it
used to
is.
be.
There are authors who are getting tour sponsors, and I am way too Gen X to fucking get a tour sponsor because, like, once you have a corporation backing your book tour, then they're going to tell you what you can and can't put in the book and what you can and can't talk about. So that's not gonna fucking happen.
Mm-mm.
But it looks like I am going to LA. I will I'm going to the Chicago Book Festival. I know I'm going to the Mississippi Book Festival. Jackson's in Mississippi. Yeah, I'm going to the Mississippi Book. I'm doing what I fucking can.
So the dates
But like all this, like, come to Pennsylvania. I don't.
Yeah, just so everyone
Fuck.
understands, like, it used to be I mean, back in the day, your publisher would, like, fly you places and put you up, and it just doesn't work like that
It
really
just it just
anymore,
fucking doesn't. It
which
just
is
like I'm like 2
sad.
steps away from having to sleep in the back of my truck on this tour. Like, I'm doing what I fucking can. Half of
But
it is like I know a bar owner in DC who's like, "Yeah, we could do an event for you." And she found the bookstore down the street.
right,
This is unless you're Ann Patchett.
right.
I was talking to a writer last night because we went to Devil and Unferth's book, Earth 7, which is fucking amazing. If you need an escape, that is the one. She's fucking
Okay.
great. She's like a vegan Kurt Vonnegut. She's amazing. But, but, if yeah, I was talking to another writer, and she's like, "Yeah, I was saying something about my book release date," and Elizabeth McCracken, who's our friend, was like, my friend Ann Patchett always likes her books to be in July. We're like, oh, tell us inspiring stories about what Ann Patchett would like to. Ann Patchett could put a book out on New Year's, like it would fucking
Yeah,
sell.
it wouldn't matter. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
okay, so pretty sure it's, like I think it's August 27th at Diesel, right? That's
Yeah, I
where we're
think
at.
so.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
Thursday because
so.
Amber is asking. Thursday, she said she would fly to LA, so for your to be here. So, it's Diesel Books. It hasn't been announced yet. This is like just yeah,
I'm still, I think, arguing details, but it looks like
6:30 Diesel
my
Books.
girlfriend has it in my calendar as she's either watching Woody or coming to LA with me. So we're
Nice.
not sure which one that is, but it is the 27th.
Well, I hope she's coming
I
'cause
hope so.
to meet her, yes. But,
Yeah, it's helpful. She's coming to, like, some of the like, I think she's flying into Nashville, and then we'll drive to DC. She's coming to as much as she can. She has a job.
awesome.
Um,
That's good, and
so
that's also good for people to know too, because in the
it's
book,
good for
like,
my brain.
there's the whole there's, like well, people will read it, but there's,
I need to write another book about going crazy on a book tour. So,
yeah, and
yeah.
it's nice because 'cause you're not alone, so yay.
Oh, it's just fun. Like, then it makes it fun and not just me and Woody trying to, like, "I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry I did this to you again."
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
just
I'm that's excellent.
he's on his couch.
Is he there?
Yeah, he's on his couch. It is
He's
just not
not he's
that.
like, "Yeah, I don't wanna be part of this, like, your marketing." Yeah. Well, would he be on tour with you in DC
Yes,
somewhere fast?
Woody's going to all of the dates between here and New England. He's going to all of those. I think there's I think the only one that didn't allow dogs was in this area. So, oh yeah, Lighthouse. My opening night, he won't be there, which is fine because I'm gonna get shit faced afterwards. So
Right.
we have a dog sitter for him.
Diesel has, like, a whole outdoor, like, courtyard, so that's why I was like, "It has to be
Awesome.
Diesel."
Well, yeah, he's not coming to Diesel though because I'm not
Yeah,
driving to LA and I'm
okay.
not putting him in cargo.
Oh, right, you're gonna yeah, no,
So yeah,
no.
it's gonna be just me.
Okay. Alright. Well,
I don't know.
I'm
There'll be some dog fur on me if that counts.
yeah, no, no, it's okay. I'm still excited.
Uh, I can
Absolutely.
throw cheese at the audience to
You could do
just
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, it would be a first. Alright, I think I don't wanna
So, yeah, we're
that
good.
does seem to be the burning question, so yay, yay. Lauren, thank you so much. The book is phenomenal. You did it again, totally
Yeah.
different. And sounds like you're gonna do a novel next time. So you're just gonna keep doing this, huh? Is that the deal? You're just gonna keep busting out insanely excellent books.
Yeah,
That's
obviously.
the plan.
What else could I possibly do? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still not qualified for any actual job, so I'm hoping this works.
It's working.
Please
Yeah,
buy the book.
I, I think you're all right.
I'm a friend. Yeah, it'll be fine.
I think you got it.
So yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I am. This was so much fun. I knew it would be. Everyone, if you haven't already, I kind of feel like everybody here already ordered the book, but I put the link in the chat like
Yeah,
12 times.
I'm gonna add this. Listen, so I tried to do something cool. People keep trying to give me some merchandise. I'm not a merchandiser. I don't want to sell merch, but I got these postcards made, right? And I was going to shove them in the pre-orders. Except we ordered them from, I guess, Gen Z, and they've never seen a postcard. So you've got like 6 address lines.
Uh,
Um,
it's
I'm
still
doing
cool.
what I can. It's still cool. It's
It's
what I
still
got.
cool. Come on. It's still
Also,
cool.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that, but I did.
Why wouldn't you
As
be?
for forgiveness later, I don't fucking
Mm,
know. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But I like people were asking about posters, and I said something to marketing about posters, and they were like, "No."
Really?
Yeah. But
God.
also, I don't want to be a merch salesman.
Oh no,
Um,
I know you don't. Yeah.
but also, I know I can't sell things because like copyright. But
Oh, people want lunatic army stickers.
what lunatic army stickers?
Yeah. Well, I
This
mean,
is why we call you my lunatic army.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah.
So that is what
That, by the way, that story of this cafe by your stepdad's office that is stocking your books
it's
is
fucking
my
fast.
favorite.
I went
Favorite.
around. Well, it was. I'm a petty asshole, so I went around to because I knew where his office was because my brother stupidly slipped where he worked. So I went to all of the cafes and juice bars around his office because I was hoping. My idea was, well, one, there would be kids working there who would understand revenge,
Yeah,
um, and petty
yeah.
revenge most of all, which is all we're looking for here. Um, so I asked them if I could leave some books around the store, and like one of the cafes like, honey, no, we'll order a box of them, and like they do. My hope is that just one day someone in his office is reading the book.
I
And
love it.
I find that, and I I just want him to feel a little bit of fear, just a
Yeah,
little, just a little,
yeah. Just enough. Just a
yeah,
tinge.
just a wonder, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I really
Sorry.
I appreciate that level of dedication
Yeah.
and loyalty and petty. It's
It's
all
the
good.
pettiness of it that I respect so much. Like I found the queer kid who was like, "Honey, no, we'll order a whole box."
Yes.
Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Oh, people, I made out with Woody and all I got was this T-shirt with Woody's face.
Yeah,
I think you've got people that badges, people want badges, a plush Woody with the Oakleys. Oh. Lauren, you've got people here that are like coming up with brilliant ideas. So
All right, well, I guess copy those down. I don't want to sell merch. I don't.
now I know, I know.
Oh man, is that
But like you could
embarrassing
probably
to sell
fund
merch?
your whole book tour right here. I'm gonna like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a picture of this because I am these are really good ideas. They really are. And I've noticed for some reason with these lives that I don't get the chat. It doesn't save the chat. Yeah.
I own I own the original picture with Woody on it, but it's like it's not a great picture for book
Do you think they
purposes.
wouldn't let you use it?
I don't fucking know. No, it's my picture. I own it. I can do whatever I want with the
And
actual picture.
cover of the book?
Oh, so that picture that they used for the book cover was taken right outside what's that? Roosevelt Roosevelt State Park? No, National Park. Yeah, it's that. And it
Okay.
was just I don't know, like here's okay, so there's the full length picture, right? And it's at the
There,
park
that's
where the
good.
buffalo are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the look on his face was when he saw a buffalo, and
Oh.
it was just like, what the fuck? Um, so yeah. Uh yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just start showing pictures. Let's not do this.
Yeah.
I love
No,
you
no,
guys. This was
that was
fun.
great. All right. Well, we have a lot of like, there's a giant bunch of like incredible marketers here in your lunatic army. So we could talk about that later, apparently. But
Send them to my Substack, I guess. I don't know.
I've got it in the chat. I took a picture of the chat. So maybe yeah. There is somebody here on Substack who is amazing. She's just like she's made a few t-shirts for me like that I didn't even ask for. She just was like, I like this quote, I'm making a t-shirt.
Alright,
So
so
maybe she would do this. She's kind of incredible.
I'll
Um
figure it out.
word sister. So she's cool. She's very cool. So maybe yeah, she does it with like she's got a whole thing going on.
Alright. Well, I have to go drop off these
Yeah.
postcards with two
Lauren's like,
names on it.
I don't want to get into a conversation about making merch
Alright.
right now. Let's get off this call before this turns into a whole thing. So we're going to do that now. Thank you so much, Lauren. This was really fun. Everybody buy the book, pre-order. You're going to be so happy that you did. It's incredible. And come to LA, come to Diesel on August 27th. Um,
Yes.
and
I will be
bonus,
there.
I'll be there too. We can say hi.
Yeah, I don't know, like, yell at Pantheon Books has an Instagram, and occasionally they post a picture of my book. Yell at them. I don't fucking I can't. I already did a one road trip. I can't drive around the country again. I
Pro tip, like I
gas is a little
forgot,
expensive now.
you just like literally call Diesel. And that's how you got to do it. Just go to the get
Yeah,
the
call the bookstore, have the bookstore harass my publisher. Yeah, I don't control it. I wish I did, but like yelling at me that you really want me to come to like your bookstore.
I
Cool.
did it because I kept seeing all your people like, please come to the West Coast, please
I
come.
want to. I've yelled. My agents are really tired of hearing me complain about the book tour,
Yeah,
but that's
it's gonna be
all I can
great.
do.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great tour. This book is gonna fly off the shelves. It's so good. And thank you for, giving us your time and reading endlessly. I appreciate it. And I hope everybody had as great of a time as I did. I knew it was gonna be I knew it was gonna be easy. So
So,
thank you.
all right, thank you.
All right. See you soon. Bye. Bye, everyone.